This is Kristin here with Cidercraft magazine. Today I am joined by Joe Gaynor of Angry Orchard out in the facility out in Walden, New York. And we've got a kind of a fun little show today. They've got this really cool new product that's come out that is basically kind of almost a ready to drink cocktail, but inspired by the fruits of the orchards out in New York. And everything that we're going to be, whipping up today is all apple based. And since this is new product, I don't know too much about it. This is why I brought on Joe to talk about it today. So why don't you give us a little overview of these cocktail? What would you call these?
So we like to use the term cider inspired by cocktails. Thanks for having me today, Kristin. We're excited to kind of come out with this new product line, I guess we're saying, for Walden, our Walden Orchard. It's a little exclusive right now. This is kind of like our product run, but we will actually be shipping it too, which is super exciting. But
we all need it outside of New York too, so that's good to know.
Yeah, everybody can get it, but we really started at a place where we were seeing kind of like the want for cocktails in our space, and customers were coming in and asking kind of what we had that was a little extra and something maybe with like a little more experiential. And we kept thinking about cocktails, and early on in like early iterations of this, we thought about bringing in spirit, we thought about doing other things, but we kind of reached back to all the deep like cocktail history that apples have anyways. And you have things like brandy and pommeau and ice cider and all these high ABV things that can be used as cocktail ingredients that we were also making here, that we said, let's start in a different place. Let's make cider completely inspired by cocktails. So it's just cider, it's just apples, and then kind of plus them up or kind of, garnish them at the bar to give up people that level of experience that they wanted too. So they're awesome to drink on their own, but with a couple extra things at the bar, it can bring it to another level. And it also gives people some like level of fun too. At home you could try different bitter, try different garnish, seasonal stuff.
Well, and that's so fun because I am not the most expert bartender cocktail maker, and I usually go for things that are less than 4 ingredients because I just don't want the fuss. But I do love me a great cocktail, so I love this line. I'm really excited to try this. We have a few ingredients. Each of them just have a few ingredients, which I absolutely love. Tell us this series. It's called the Tall Tale series. How did you guys come up with that, or what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so we were like in finding that cocktail inspiration, we also started to find a lot of like local legends and lore that either were involved in drinking or things that we just kind of like thought about a lot. So we started to just play with the idea of taking each one of these like legends and applying it to one of the ciders here. And it all just started to make a lot of sense. And the art came out beautiful, and it connected us to our community even deeper, which was super exciting. And some of these stories are known throughout the world, and some of these stories are known just in the Hudson Valley here where we are. But it was exciting to kind of draw another component that made it kind of even more exciting and more authentic to what we do here in Walden.
Awesome. Well, hopefully while we get into making some of these cocktails, you can maybe give us a little background on each of these individual ones. And I think that we were going to start with the old growth. And why don't you tell us a little bit what the base of this specific one is?
Yeah, definitely. So old growth is inspired by a stone fence cocktail. And what a stone fence cocktail was really just juice, apple juice and rum. So we wanted to find cider in our own kind of system here that really built this cocktail and brought some of the same flavors. And what we landed on was cider that we've aged in rum barrels for a minimum of 3 years, and a little bit of actually our pommeau that we make. So pommeau being that French digestif, that's the distillate mixed with the juice already, kind of brought our ABV up, brought us some of those juicy notes, and really just complemented the rum notes beautifully.
And just for our viewers out there, this is coming in at 15% alcohol. So not, anything crazy, but a little, maybe double what a typical cider would be. So I think that's nice. And it's not, you could probably have a couple of these. I mean, we're going to have about 4 of these. So why don't we get started? I am going to kind of follow along while you tell me how to make these specific cocktails.
Yeah, of course. So the old growth, we're starting with this one because of all of the cocktails here. They're all 2 or 3 ingredient adds. This one is pretty straightforward because just like in the spirit of what a Stone Fence was, it was just rum and juice. It was meant to be super easy to make, super, convenient to drink, and, really bring those flavors together. So in the spirit of that, we really, we take this one, we add a little bit of aromatic bitter.
Okay. How many dashes?
Which we partnered with Hella Cocktail for this too, with some really awesome bitters that they actually, the first time they sent over, they just sent over like a sample pack, and right away we found a flavor of bitter for each cocktail, and it was just exciting, and they reached back out, and yeah, we ran with it. So
and where are you mixing this one specifically just into the glass?
Yeah, so we're starting with a glass with ice. We're putting a little bit of the bitter right on top of the ice, 2 or 3 dashes. And then we're taking the cider itself and pouring about 4 ounces right over the ice. We kept the garnish, again, super simple, super easy to drink, and also super seasonal. We garnished this with just a slice of apple. We did a couple apples that we even bruleed with sugar too, but we found that just an apple, something right from the orchard this time of year, went great with it.
I didn't get that fancy, unfortunately. And also my apple selection at my local grocery store does not have old growth apples in it, but this'll do. But
yeah, we're just getting to the season here now, so we're excited as we're unveiling these to be able to do some legit apple garnishes from our own orchard here.
That would be so cool. So this is it. This is the old growth cocktail.
This is it.
Okay, well, cheers. Let me taste this one. Oh, that is so refreshing. Look, my mom's over here. She's probably wanting a little sip. I'm going to share a couple of these cocktails with her, but it's still early over here. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, it's got all those.
That's so refreshing. I love the bitters added to it because it just adds a little extra depth to it. But that is a easy sipper for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, well. And what was this one is the old growth. I'm assuming this has to do with your orchard.
No, this is one of those ones I was saying that this is kind of a Hudson Valley tall tale that probably a lot of people outside of the region haven't heard about. And we have this tree near Newburgh, New York, in a town called Bombsville, called the Bombsville tree. And it's actually this tree that at one point was like 10, 12 foot wide. So think of like kind of those old redwood growths that you see on the West Coast, but it was one tree kind of left here in the Hudson Valley that was, very special for so long. It unfortunately over the last couple of years really outgrew itself and started to fall down. So they had to cut it down, but we have this giant, 12-foot stump that's really beautiful and cool. And there's tons of lore around it because it's the only tree of its size in the area. So there's these legends of, George Washington hung out under the tree during the Revolution, and it was kept on purpose for, an area of drinking and all these kind of like tall tales that come around it. So we drew some inspiration for those like revolutionary kind of ties into that. And also like the Stone Fence cocktail. That's a huge, early American drink that was. I would
love to sit under an old growth tree and sip on this cocktail. That's for sure. So that's awesome. Okay. And then just so everyone knows there are four apple based, would we call it apple wine essentially?
Yeah, so we're calling these apple wine just because we're that's what we have to do at the ABV that we're at, and to be able to share it with more people. So as kind of labeled as an apple wine, it keeps us in this TTB area that enables us to share it more broadly across the country.
Yeah,
but it really is just cider, apple wine, cider. We know kind of those are the same thing, but different names get you into different places, fortunately.
Totally. We're going to have to now create some sort of new category for this new line with Cidercraft. So thank you for that. Awesome. Okay, well, let's go to the Ichabod's Spritzer, and we'll have you tell me what I need to do to make this special little spritzer.
Of course. So, I mean, I'll hit the tall tale first this time because I think this is one that everybody at home will know. The tail of the headless horseman. So that's a legend that's right here, that's right from here in the Hudson Valley. The original story, as it's read, though, is a little more about Ichabod wanting to marry a rich girl and kind of get away from his, mundane life. And the draw we did there was, if he had a spritzer and kind of calmed down a little bit and wasn't worried about so many material things, maybe it would have all worked out for him. This one is super cool in that it's a blend of our ice cider, and then there's actually a blend of Perry too. So this is made with Perry pears. So there's a lot of really interesting tannin that comes from those. That's super fun. And blend it with the ice cider, kind of freshens it up and gives it some like that concentrated fruit note that they really come awesome together.
I can definitely get the Perry notes in the nose, which is super cool. Kind of mellows out the other, which is cool. Okay, so are we using just a glass for this with ice?
Yep. So we got a glass with ice again.
This is my type of cocktail. I mean, I am not having to do much work here.
No, yeah, there's supposed to be that 2 and 3 ingredient like thing that just keeps it fun, keeps it easy, and gives you a little like room to play.
Well, thankfully, I washed some glassware at the office today, so I actually have 4 clean glasses to work with. It's amazing.
So we're starting with a little ice, and then this time we're using Hella's ginger bitter. That little bit of ginger bitter actually kind of comes across and cuts across some of that tannin, some of that big appliness, and brings some like interesting acid and spicy aromatics that tie it all together. We're going to do 4 ounces of the cider itself.
Okay.
And then this one, to make it a spritzer in the true sense, is going to get a little bit of tonic. I got a little fancy today, and I got some cucumber fever tree tonic water, which again kind of brings in this note of freshness that makes it super awesome.
That's exactly what I have. I just have a bigger bottle of it, so I put it in this little cup so that I didn't have to take up all of my space in here. But I love fever tree. It's so good. And how many ounces you said of that? Just like a little?
Just a splash.
Okay,
yep.
Awesome.
So yeah, if you have a measuring 2 ounces, but just a splash.
Okay, great. And by the way, we'll be putting up the recipes for what we are doing today on cidercraftmag.com after this recording. And so that'll be available along with the ability to purchase this in New York, but hopefully outside of New York in the very near future. So, and is this the garnish with the cucumber?
Yep. So just in complement with that fever tree, just a little bit of fresh cucumber. This one from my garden. And again, like the fun thing about garnishes is that they can change throughout the season. But there's always something you can find that kind of tastes well with the cocktail.
Totally. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is really pretty. Oh, that's good. That's real good. Yeah. 4 cocktails before noon. That's my type of day. So but these are, again, low ABV. I mean, we're not looking at like, this is not your like typical old fashioned or anything. You could really sip on these. You could even probably make like a punch for a larger group ahead of time, which that would be so cool.
Definitely. That's like the awesome part of it all being cider and kind of being in the bottle between that like 8 and 15% range is once you're over ice, you're kind of right back at cider ABVs again. You're kind of at, between 5 and 8. And that's really what you do with a cocktail too, except for you're starting at, much higher levels. So definitely can enjoy a lot more in the same amount of time.
This cucumber is kind of a game changer because you get it on the nose before you even get to the cocktail. And it is just the most perfect accompaniment to this cocktail. I actually would have not really even thought of a cucumber, but that's really cool.
Yeah, it just kind of like layers it and has that like really nice, like sweet vegetable thing up front. And then you get into the tannin and the Perry into it later on, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's very summery. I mean, I think all of these are pretty summery, but yeah, that was, again, very delicious. Kudos on that one. Mom, you want a sip?
Thank you.
All right. And moving on to our third, which is the Mountain Lights. Tell us
Mountain Lights. I'm sorry, what?
I was saying, just tell us a little bit about this one. What's is on this one, and also a little bit about this Tall Tale Mountain Lights.
Of course. So this one is cider aged in cognac barrels for a minimum of 3 years. That cognac comes through beautifully with tons of those woody notes, tons of those spirit notes that you expect from cognac. It also is aged with a little bit of elderflower as well too, to kind of pop some aromatics in there and kind of complement the cocktail that it was inspired by, which is like an elderberry blossom elderflower cocktail. The Tall Tale Mountain Lights is another local one that's probably a little foreign to everyone outside of the Hudson Valley, and it is about Storm King Mountain and the fireflies on the mountain. As sailors would pass by in early days, they would see the fireflies on the mountain and think they were fairies or signs of spirits, and they would tip their sails to it in hopes for a good journey down the Hudson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have not heard of this one. Yeah, that's really cool. I love fireflies. It's always
it's a beautiful hike there too, and the fireflies are this time of year definitely there.
That's so awesome. Very cool. So what are we making with this? Are we doing a glass of ice?
Yep. So we're starting with ice again. We are hitting that ice with a little bit, of the Hella Citrus bitter.
Okay. Also, I got the sampler pack. And for me, I mean, not being in a bar setting, these are the perfect size because it's really hard to go through a ton of bitters. So they've got this cute little sampler pack. I don't know where it is right now, but of 5 different flavors. This Hello cocktail is so cute. So, yeah, and how many dashes are we doing?
We're doing like 3 or 4 dashes.
Okay. Got it. I've got my favorite cocktail cup here, my gold one.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect for this. Okay.
4 ounces of the cider. And this time, to complement those elderflower notes, is Fever Tree again, but with their elderflower tonic.
Oh, I didn't have that one, but I'm pretty sure that the just normal tonic will do its thing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a fun part of cocktails to be able to change up some of those tonics, change up some of those garnishes. These are ones that just like we really liked with the way we built them right now. But normal tonic water, or if you want even to go a little less sweet, you're not onto the sweeter end, just using seltzer, really great with them too.
Not hard seltzer, but just
not hard seltzer. No, some people might try.
Yeah, I'm sure it would work, to be honest. But so, and then what are we garnishing it with?
We are garnishing this one with what are we going? We are garnishing this one with the lemon. So I looked down and I misplaced the lemon, so I couldn't find it. I apologize. But
and
this
maybe
one,
just a lemon peel or just a little zesting.
Yep, just a little zest or a slice. Again, the fun part about cocktails is you can kind of play with this and see what you like best in the glass. I'm going to take just a little slice here, and rather than doing the rim, I'm going to drop it in and have a little bit of an infusion there.
Love it. Cheers. Oh, that's good. You can definitely get that elderflower and the aging on it too. I mean, that's like this is one of the more complex of the ones that we've had so far. I'm trying to think of like what you would equate this cocktail to.
Cognac's always tough because the first thing you want to say is like, oh, it tastes and smells like cognac. Digging into the vanilla and the wood and the aging notes can be like difficult because for me, every time I smell cognac, I just say cognac.
Right. Yeah, totally. It's very fruit forward though, but not not sweet. It's just really vibrant. I like this a lot. I'm also getting a lot of the essence from the lemon peel in there, which again is a perfect little garnish for this. Sold again. I love this cocktail. That is really good.
Thank you.
And it's just so nice to not have the bitter cocktail face. You know what I mean? Like when you sip on this, it is just so light and refreshing. And again, probably pretty sessionable. just depending on how much stuff you put in it. But I mean, you could add some additional spirits to this if you wanted to, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I would put a little bourbon in this, maybe.
No doubt. And I think the next one, you might say that again too.
Okay. All right. Well, last glass. Where? Put this cocktail over there for my mom to have in a little bit. Okay. And then last but not least is probably something I'm going to do later this afternoon, which is long nap.
Yeah. So long nap is our take on an old fashioned. So we already had this. We have this other cider called Wooden Sleeper, where we're taking cider and we're aging it in bourbon barrels, fresh bourbon barrels, for minimum of 3 years. Some of the barrels in the program are 5, 6+ years old now. And as we take it out, we find some of this Wooden Sleeper that's just distinct. It's, it's like a select barrel. And what we did was we took some of that select, those select barrels, and we used it to make long nap. We took that out, we aged it with a little bit of dried orange and gave it a little bit of like acid, a little bit of aromatic pop. And we use it as kind of a base in this like old fashioned take on cider that we make now. Long Nap is inspired by Rip Van Winkle, another Hudson Valley legend. This one people might have heard of, about a gentleman named Rip that fell asleep on an island in the Hudson River and woke up a long time later, took a really long nap, and was in a different world.
Well, you definitely can smell the barrel aging on this for sure. If I'm honest, like probably one of the only cocktails that I do make for myself at home when I'm not totally lazy is an old fashioned. I am like old school, like don't mess with it. I just want it how it typically is. So I'm excited for this one.
Awesome. So in the spirit of an old fashioned, we're kind of making this in a similar way where we're going to start with sugar cube, no ice this time.
Okay.
One of them had to be different, right?
Are we going to use a muddler?
We are going to use a muddler. Yep. So we're going to start with a sugar cube in the glass, or if you have like the stainless, it's probably a little safer.
Well, I'm known to break things, so I'm going to put mine in a shaker. So one sugar cube. One sugar cube.
In spirit of the season and the spirit of old fashions, we have a couple fresh New York State tart cherries too. So I'm going to drop a cherry in here. If you want to take the seed out first, or the pit out first, I'm sorry.
Mine are cocktail cherries, so they're ready to go in there.
Awesome. And then before we muddle, we're going to add a little bit of the orange bitter right on top of the sugar cube. About 4 dashes again. And then we're going to hit everything we got in our glass or muddler there with the muddler.
Yum.
Don't have to go crazy. Just incorporate them a little bit. Again, awesome. I'm with you. There's a better bartender out there that does this in a much nicer way than we do, probably.
we don't have real training, but we've got real training with sipping. So, that's really all you need. That's why we wanted to do this, is because not everybody out there is a crazy at-home bartender. These are very simple to put together. So
awesome. And then last, we're going to do 4 ounces again of the cider. And this one, I think in the spirit of an old-fashioned, ice is an option at the end here. You can kind of give it a little stir if you want to help integrate some of that stuff that we put in. But I'm going to take it. Uh-oh.
Don't mind me. I just spilled cocktail all over me. That's okay. That's why I bring another change of clothes just in case. And then and an orange.
Yep, just a little bit of orange.
I didn't cut mine in the middle, so I'm just going to put it right in there.
Yeah.
Because you can,
Here. Togetherness.
Awesome. Cheers. And I always do like a little ice cube just because some of my ingredients weren't fully like cold. So I probably would throw an ice cube in here just for fun. But this definitely tastes like an old fashioned, but with with a little bit of apple influence. It's really wild. That's really cool. Wow. I like that. I'm very sticky now. I have spilt all over myself, but it wouldn't be a cocktail, not class, but cocktail making session without a little, stickiness and spillage. So yeah, that was awesome. I can't even tell you which is my favorite. Do you have a favorite of the four of these?
So I mean, like a big thing for me is I'm always trying to pair cider with food. But in the spirit pun of cocktails, pun intended, I find that these all pair with moments really nicely. So, we're just drinking the old fashioned. That is like, that for me is all day like a campfire cocktail, a campfire cider cocktail. The Ichabod spritzer, when we were drinking it, for me, that is like the end of a hot work day, sitting outside, just trying to wind down. So I think that these all like pair with moments, and because they're these moments that I find I struggle to find a favorite, because right now I think I'm a little hot. I just came in from outside. I might drink the rest of that Ichabod spritzer.
For sure. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I do think it's very much about like the time and place for all of these. And there is a time and place for all of these. These are really great. And I mean, I am probably one of the few people that drink old fashions during the summer. So again, that's probably why I do the ice with it. But yeah, this was really good. I am super excited about these. I think there's a lot of cider fans out there that are going to like jump all over this. And I'm assuming, I mean, it kind of goes without saying this is all gluten free.
Yes.
Right. Because it's cider. Awesome. And then we will put up on the screen after this how we purchase. You want to follow Angry Orchard Walden on Instagram. Give them a follow. I'm sure that they're going to be doing a lot more stuff with these cocktails. And we'll get this up on the website and make sure you guys have access to getting it. But always, you guys welcome visitors all the time. I mean, you see a lot of visitors at this Walden facility.
Oh yeah, I mean this time of year, as we kind of start to get into harvest, we get kind of fall visitors. It just seems to be that from August on, some weekends we're doing 2,000-3,000 people a day here at the orchard. So we get a lot of feedback on these, hopefully.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining me today and sharing these new concoctions with us, the Tall Tale series from Angry Orchard. Definitely try to get your hands on them, and as soon as they get some additional distribution, go ahead.
We're going to do like direct to consumer shipping. So starting like August 4th, I think you guys will probably end up posting the link. We'll post the link, but it'll be in tons of different places to be able to get it right to your door, actually.
And actually, I do have one question. I got the 4-pack. Is that how it comes to everybody, or can you purchase just each individual bottle?
Yeah, you can do individual or the whole 4-pack.
Okay, well, I do the whole 4-pack just because, I mean, it's there, like you said, there's a cocktail for every moment. So you definitely want to get all 4 of these and try them out. So, well, awesome. Thanks so much, Joe. Joe again, Cidermaker over at Angry Orchard in Walden, and putting together these awesome Tall Tales series that you definitely want to check out. So thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Thanks, Joe. And
thanks for having me.
We'll talk soon.